Welcome back to another ukulele tutorial. Today we're looking at the song Can't Take My Eyes Off You. We'll look at 4 ways to play it, starting with an easy strumming pattern and then moving into 3 beautiful finger-picking patterns. As we cover these 4 patterns, we'll look at how to apply them to the verses and the chorus. Then we'll take a look at the 2 instrumental riffs in this song and 2 options for how to play them. Stick around for a play-along after the tutorial where I'll play through the entire song and you can play along with me. Throughout this lesson, you'll find the chords, lyrics, tabs, and patterns on screen, and you can also download them as a PDF from my Patreon page. You'll find the link down below in the video description. I want to point out that I'm playing a tenor with a low G. If you have a high G on your instrument, you can follow this entire tutorial. Just keep in mind that the patterns will sound a bit different on your instrument, particularly the finger-picking patterns, because your 4th string is 1 octave higher than mine. Now let's get started by taking a look at how to play the chords in this song. Starting with the first 5 chords, our first chord is C. This is the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Then we have C major 7, so we're moving down 1 fret to the 2nd fret. And then we have C7, which is the 1st fret of the 1st string. Next we have our F chord. To play F, I have my index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Our next chord is F minor. I'm playing this with my index finger on the 1st fret of the 4th string, my middle finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and my pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Now let's look at the last 5 chords. We have our D chord, which is the 2nd fret on strings 2, 3, and 4. I'm playing this with my index finger, middle finger, and ring finger. Then we have D minor. I'm playing D minor with my index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and my middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 4. Next we have our G chord. I'm playing G with my index finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Next we have A minor 7, which is the easiest chord. It's all open strings. And finally we have our A chord. I'm playing A with my index finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string and my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. All 4 of the patterns that we're covering in this lesson consist of 4 beats, so keep in mind that as we look at any particular pattern and how many times to apply it to a certain chord, we would apply the other 3 patterns the same number of times because they all have the same number of beats. Now we've come to our first pattern, which is our strumming pattern. Here's how this sounds. Let's take a close look at how to play this pattern and how to apply it to the verses and the chorus. Here's our first pattern played at a nice slow tempo on a C chord. The strumming here is down, down, up, down. The rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Bringing this pattern up to the tempo of this song sounds like this. For the verses, we'll apply any of our patterns twice to each chord change for the first 3 lines. So starting with line 1, using our first pattern, we'll start on our C chord and play our pattern twice. Then we move to our C major 7 chord. Moving into line 2, we go to C7. And then to our F chord. Moving into line 3, we're going to F minor. And then to our C chord. Here we have our pinky already in the right place for our C chord, so we can just lift up our index and middle fingers. Moving into line 4, we'll play our pattern once on D. Then we'll do one down strum on D minor. And then we'll finish the verse by playing our pattern twice on C. Now I'll play through verse 1 using this strumming pattern. First I'll play through it instrumental only so you can really hear all of the chord changes. Then I'll play through it once more, adding in the lyrics. Adding in the lyrics to verse 1. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. Just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Now taking a look at the chorus, we're going to apply any of our patterns once to every chord change until we get to the final line. So starting with line 1, we'll play our pattern once on D minor, move into G. For line 2, we're going to our C chord, and then A minor 7. For line 3, we're going to D minor, then to G, and then to our C chord. For line 4, we go to A, and then to D minor, and then to G. Then we go to our C chord on line 5, and then to A minor 7. Now we've come to line 6. We're going to play this line differently with 3 down strums. The first 2 will be on our D minor chord. The first down strum will be over the word love. The second will be over the word baby. And then for the G chord that we strum over the word love at the end of the line, we'll do one final down strum. Here's how it sounds to play line 6 with both the chord changes and the lyrics. And let me love you, baby, let me love you. Now I'll sing through the entire chorus using this first strumming pattern. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm the lonely night. I love you, baby, you stay and let me love you, baby, let me love you. Our second pattern is a finger picking pattern, and it sounds like this. Let's take a close look at this pattern and how to apply it to our song. Here's our second pattern, played at a nice slow tempo on a C chord. I'm starting by picking strings 4 down to 1 with my thumb, index finger, middle finger, and then ring finger. Then I'm going back to string 2 with my middle finger and finishing with string 3 with my index finger. The rhythm of this pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Bringing this pattern up to the tempo of this song will sound like this. For the verses, we'll apply this second pattern the same way we did our first, as far as the number of times we play the pattern for each chord change. I want to point out that on line 4, we'll play our pattern once on D, and then going to our D minor chord, this is where we did one single down strum with our first strumming pattern. Using this finger picking pattern, we're going to finger pick all 4 strings at once. Then we'll go to C and play our pattern twice. So here's how it sounds to play through the 4th line. Now I'll play through the second verse with the lyrics using the second pattern. But in the way that I stare, there's nothing else to compare. The sight of you makes me weak. There are no words left to speak. But if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. For the chorus, we'll apply this second pattern once to every chord change until we get to the final line. For the final line of the chorus, we have 2 options. One is that we can play 3 down strums the way we did with our first strumming pattern, or we can finger pick all 4 strings at once. So we would do this once on D minor over the word love, once again on D minor over the word baby, and then a 3rd time on our G chord over the word love at the end of the line. Now I'll sing through the chorus using this second pattern. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm the lonely night. I love you, baby, trust in me when I say, oh pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray, oh pretty baby, now that I found you, stay and let me love you, baby, let me love you. Our third pattern is another finger picking pattern, and this one has a fun rhythm to it. Let's take a closer look. Here's this third pattern played slowly on a C chord. I'm alternating between picking strings 1, 2, and 3 and picking the 4th string. So I'm playing strings 1, 2, and 3 with my ring finger, middle finger, and index finger twice, then I'm picking the 4th string with my thumb, and then I'm picking strings 1, 2, and 3 2 more times. The rhythm of this pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Bringing this pattern up to the tempo of this song will sound like this. Looking at the verses, we'll play this pattern twice on every chord change until we get to the 4th line. For the 4th line, we'll play this pattern once on D, and then we'll fingerpick all 4 strings on D minor, and then we'll play this pattern twice on C. Now I'll sing through the 3rd verse using this 3rd pattern, and I want to point out that verse 3 is identical to verse 1. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You feel like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Our 4th pattern is another finger-picking pattern that starts with an arpeggio. Let's take a close look at this one and how to apply it to our song. Here's our 4th pattern played at a slow tempo on a C chord. I'm starting with an arpeggio playing through all 4 strings. Then I'm picking string 4 with my thumb, then strings 1 and 2 with my middle and ring fingers. Then I'm going back to string 4 with my thumb, and finishing on string 3 with my index finger. The rhythm of this pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Bringing this pattern up to the tempo of this song will sound like this. Our final chorus is 9 lines instead of 6. It still follows the same chord progression as our earlier chorus, and we'll apply any of our 4 patterns one time to every chord change until we get to the final line. For the final line, we'll do the same thing that we did in our earlier chorus by playing either 3 down strums or fingerpicking all 4 strings at once 3 times. Now I'll play through the final chorus using this 4th pattern. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm the lonely night. I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say, oh, pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray, oh, pretty baby. Now that I've found you, stay, oh, pretty baby. Trust in me when I say, I need you, baby. And when you come my way, oh, pretty baby. Now that I've found you, stay and let me love you, baby. Let me love you. Now that we've covered our 4 patterns and how to play the verses and the chorus, we're going to take a look at the 2 instrumental riffs in this song and 2 options for how to play them. Looking at our first instrumental, our first option is to play through all of the chords that you see above the tablature. We can apply any of our 4 patterns one time to each chord. So for example, if I apply our first strumming pattern, here's how this will sound. Note that the final A, we're not playing our pattern on this chord, we're just doing one down strum. Our second option is to fingerpick the melody of this instrumental. This happens on the second string, and we're starting on the 4th fret, going back between frets 4 and 5 3 times. Then we go up to the 8th fret, then down to 7, then down to 5. We repeat that 2 more times. For the final 2 measures of the instrumental, we'll go back to our 4th fret and alternate between 4 and 5 2 more times. And then we're finishing on an A chord, finger picking strings 1, 2, and 3. I have my index finger on the 7th fret of the 1st string, my middle finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and my ring finger on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. Now I'll demonstrate how to transition into and out of the instrumental, starting with the 4th line of the 2nd verse and ending with the 2nd line of the chorus. I'll use our second pattern. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm the lonely night. Our second instrumental is a shorter version of the first. It's essentially the second half, or the final 4 measures, of the first riff. If I play this using our first strumming pattern, here's how this sounds, starting on our D minor chord. Now I'll play the melody of this shorter riff, starting from the 4th line of the 3rd verse and playing through the 2nd line of the final chorus. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to warm the lonely night. Now we've come to our play along. I'm going to play through the entire song, instrumental only, so you can hear how I move back and forth between the different patterns and riffs. You'll find the chords, lyrics, and tabs for the riffs on screen, so you can play along with me, and if you'd like, you can also sing the lyrics. If a slower tempo would be helpful for the play along, then feel free to slow down the playback speed of the video down in the video settings. 5, 6, 7, 8. enjoyed this lesson and learning 4 ways to play Can't Take My Eyes Off You. Have fun practicing, and thank you for watching.